Every woman deserves to feel vibrant, safe, loved, and feel her power. The Woman's Vibrancy Code podcast is here for a potent use of your time. We will cover energy, hormones, and libido with episodes that also dive into entrepreneurship, money mindset, feminine power, and much, much more. Introducing Maraya Brown, Yale and functional medicine trained women's health expert, midwife, mom, and entrepreneur.
All right, welcome to the Women's Vibrancy Code podcast. Let's talk about the secret to instantly moving from exhausted to energized, because I know there's a lot of you out there that are waking up feeling tired. You're having that afternoon crash. You don't feel like you've got the energy to go through your day. And I've got some quick, simple solutions and some education to hand your way. So first, I want to just say out loud, I've been there in my version of it. When I gave birth to baby number 2, afterwards, I was really, really tired. Like so tired that I remember maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sitting on the back step behind our house. I had a 2-year-old and a newborn, and my husband came home from work, and I remember looking up at him feeling like I was dying. I just was so tired. My body ached, and I didn't know how to make it through the day. Now, I'm really hoping that your current scenario is not that extreme. But if you are one of those that feels like you need coffee to make it through the day, you're not sleeping, you're feeling irritable in the afternoons, you have big visions of relationships that you want to nurture and work that you want to pour into, and somehow your energy is getting in the way, I want you to really listen up. So let's talk about what can shift in what's going in and out of your mouth, your eyes, and your heart. Let's talk about blood sugar management. Obviously, how we think is a big piece here, because your thinking might be part of what's depleting your energy. And then a little bit around how do we shift our relationship with time by taking simple steps to filter out the to-do lists that are actually making us more exhausted. Okay, so I said let's start with what goes in and out of your mouth, your eyes, your heart. What I want you to hear loud and clear is it's all important. Of course, everything you're eating, the water you're drinking, what is going into your mouth is either depleting your energy or it's adding to your energy. So we're going to talk about blood sugar management as part of that. And I'm sorry to say, you're probably going to hear me say often that I'd like for you to let go of caffeine. Now, don't turn this off. Don't run away. There are great replacements to caffeine that are, I promise you, are going to still give you great energy and stamina throughout the day, but they're going to feed you rather than depleting your adrenals and making it so that your body's not properly absorbing the nutrients from that amazing food that you're eating. When we talk about in and out of your mouth, I want to say loud and clear that hydration is a very, very simple step that you can take starting today. The majority of human beings on the planet just simply don't drink enough water, okay? If you're so exhausted and you're also experiencing brain fog, where you go into a room and you're like, why did I even just walk into this room? What was I going to do? Or you're in conversation and you can't quite find the word, or it just feels like there's a veil between you and clarity of thought. A simple thing that you can start with is simply drinking more water. And if you're already drinking a lot of water, let's fine tune and finesse the type of water that you're drinking. So something simple is just before you go to bed, take a tall glass of water, put it on your bedside, put a little bit of lemon juice in there or apple cider vinegar, whichever flavor you like better. When you wake up in the morning, first thing, your job is to drink it. Simple. Why do I recommend lemon juice or apple cider vinegar? It's lovely to help your body better digest. If you're someone who struggles at all from gut dysbiosis, bloating, gassiness, heartburn, constipation, stomach upset, that lemon juice and or apple cider vinegar actually comes in and can do a lot in helping those symptoms. The other thing is hydration is going to impact clarity of thought because our brain is predominantly water and fat. Okay, so we have to hydrate our brain. Making sure that you're properly hydrated is going to give you energy that's consistent throughout the day. It's going to help improve your skin complexion, your bowel regularity. It's also going to help in joint lubrication, and believe it or not, in quality of sleep. Someone who is well hydrated is going to have more stabilized mood, and it actually keeps your nervous system in a place of calm and actually increases the chance of you feeling safe. So when we think about what goes into your mouth, we're going to start with proper hydration. If you want to know some other things to add to your water, for some, they really value from maybe some sea salt. I sometimes put my powdered greens in my water and making sure that my water is filtered. My favorite filter is the Berkey filter. And the last thing with water is please don't store it in plastic. As you progress with me and you learn more about your hormonal well-being, there are endocrine disruptors in the plastic. Maybe you've heard of BPA. But what happens is your water soaks those up. And then when you're drinking the water that's been stored in plastic, it actually mimics hormones in the body. And then the body goes, oh, I've got those hormones. I don't need to produce them. And so if you are having some hormonal imbalances, sometimes as simple as just taking plastic out and instead having your water in stainless steel or glass jars, that can make a big, profound shift. So I mentioned mouth, heart, and eyes. So isn't that fascinating? I'm talking about moving from exhausted to energized. Then I say, well, what goes into your eyes? And what I'm talking about is through what lens are you choosing to see things? So the simple act of gratitude, when you're looking at life, you're looking at a scenario where someone might have wronged you, something in life feels off. You're looking at your checking account and you don't know how you're going to pay your bills. If you simply catch yourself and try to shift to a place of appreciation, a place of gratitude, a place of trust that more is coming and abundance is around the corner, and we shift through which lens are we choosing to see things, watch how it impacts your energy because you feel more hopeful and that gives you energy. You feel grateful, that gives you energy. We also get to filter out what's going into our eyes, i.e., what shows are you choosing to watch? What social media channels are you tuning into? What people are you surrounding yourself with? They are either serving you or not. And I hope that you give yourself permission. If not, yes, I have my prescriptive authority and I'm writing you a prescription right now. Your prescription is it is okay to filter that out. Pick and choose the things that you allow in through your eyes. And then I mentioned your heart. So when you are going through your day, when you are choosing your relationships, when you're looking at your work, does it feel your heart? Does it fill your heart? Does it make your heart soar? Because when we're doing things that we absolutely love to do, when we're in our zone of genius, when we're surrounding ourselves with people that want us to be the best version of ourselves, it gives us more energy. On the other hand, if you're allowing yourself to be around people and work that pull you down, make you feel depleted, having conversations where it's more around complaining and less around hope for the future, that's a quick way to zap your energy. So let's talk a little bit about blood sugar management specifically, and this is obviously more around what's going into your mouth. Here are a couple things that are important. When you wake up, within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, I am going to ask you to make sure you eat something that has protein and fat. Okay? We want to start out your day with your adrenals saying, oh, I have some nutrients so that I can prepare for my day. We want to start stabilizing your blood sugars from the beginning. And most blood sugar stabilization is going to come from protein, fat, and fiber. What are examples of protein? Collagen, avocados, nuts, chia seeds, eggs. What are examples of fat? Maybe put some coconut oil or some CBD oil in your adaptogen elixir. Cook your eggs with a little bit of quality oil. And talking about eggs, my preference is that you're eating not just the egg whites, but also the yolk, because now you've got a balance of both protein and fat. So you're going to start out your day within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, getting some quality protein and some fat, maybe even some fiber, get some produce in there. I'm a big fan of adaptogen elixirs to start out your day, because now you've got the adaptogens that go in and support your adrenals. Plus, you're putting in the protein source and the fat source in one space, and it's replacing that caffeinated beverage that you're currently possibly accustomed to drinking. Throughout the day, no more skipping meals, my friend. It's really important that every 2 to 4 hours, you're getting some type of quality caloric intake. Once again, protein, fat, fiber. So fruits, vegetables, and berries are always a good idea. When you look at your meals, ideally half your plate comes from produce, a minimum of 3 colors every meal, and making sure that you're getting an ample balance of fat and protein and fiber throughout the day. I do want to add, in the conversation of what goes into our mouth, our eyes, and our heart, in the mouth conversation, it's not just what is going in your mouth. Yes, we're going to talk about hydration and blood sugar management and what are quality things to be eating. And as you stick with me, we're going to dive into gut health and adrenal health and liver health and hormonal health and what are the things that you can specifically add in the context of nutrition and supplementation. But in the mouth conversation, it's also about what is coming out of your mouth. I think it's fascinating. You know, I work with women. I'm a women's health provider. The most prescribed medication for women in the United States is levothyroxine. Levothyroxine is synthetic thyroid hormone. Okay. Lots and lots and lots of women have challenges with their thyroid. Now, isn't it fascinating that the thyroid exists in our throat, right behind what you'd think of as your Adam's apple? And I think from an energetic perspective, a lot of that relates to, are you speaking your truth? So when we go to what's coming in and out of our mouth, are you allowing what comes out of your mouth to be your truth? Or are you swallowing your greatness? Are you swallowing speaking up for yourself? Are you swallowing having those tough conversations, or applying for the job that you really want to get, or launching that business that your heart desires? Having those tough conversations with friends and family. The more we swallow those down, I think it energetically blocks our thyroid. And I think for women, it's one of the reasons why so many of us have hypothyroidism, which then causes low energy. So if you're exhausted, we really need to look at your thyroid. And most of the time, you're going to go to your mainstream provider and they order what's called a TSH with a reflex T4. So what that looks like generally is the TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. You go get your blood drawn, your provider sees the results. The lab is looking at results that are way too broad, maybe 0.4 to 4.5, which my ideal is I want your TSH between 1 and 2. But now your TSH comes back at 3.9, and maybe that lab says 4.0 is normal. And so then the test is normal. And the provider goes, nope, everything's normal. I know you're exhausted and you're putting on weight and you're constipated and you're sad and you're having random rashes and your nails are feeling brittle and you're losing your hair, but your thyroid's normal. So that is when you get to advocate for yourself and say, no, these symptoms are real. I feel tired. And instead, when you work with someone like me or a functional medicine provider, they're going to actually look at the right tests, okay? That's your TSH as well as what's called your free T4 and your free T3 and your reverse T3, so we can actually look at what thyroid hormone is coming out of your thyroid, how is it being converted by your liver and your gut to the usable form. And just know that that will drastically impact your energy. So if you don't take anything else from this, just go ask for more tests. Grab your lab tests yourself. Go find another provider who's open to looking at a different version of what's considered normal. Look at your most recent TSH. Is it within 1 and 2? And if it is, great. Maybe we've ruled that out. If it isn't, I want you to keep advocating for yourself. I mentioned I was going to talk about stinking thinking. So those old stories that we're telling ourselves that kind of get in the way. And maybe we're stuck in, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful, I'm not worthy. That shows up as I don't belong, I feel ashamed, I feel guilty, no, I can't prioritize myself, it's hard for me to receive. Whatever that version of the story is for you. I'm not worthy of love. I don't know how to keep love in my life. I'm afraid I'm going to be a horrible mother, whatever it may be. And just know that whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. So we get to start catching ourselves when we're in those old stinking thinking loops. Because our thoughts create our emotions dictate our behavior and our choices and our steps, which dictate our lifestyle, which create our life. So what if we start out simply by shifting the way in which we think the stories that we're telling ourselves, because it's simply a story. One of my mentors says, if I'm walking down the street with my beautiful daughter and I see someone looking, one version is I could say, oh, they're looking at me because my butt looks bigger and this shirt doesn't fit. And yes, I'm getting old and frumpy. Does that story serve me? Hell no. If on the other hand, if I'm simply just telling myself a story, I might as well pick the story of, yeah, he's checking me out. He knows I'm hot. I can be his cougar. I've got a cute booty. He knows I've still got it, right? We don't know. We're not going to go talk to the person across the street that's looking at us, but we can choose to start shifting our stories. And the beauty of as we shift what's coming in and out of our eyes and our mouth and our heart, and we start changing the radio stations that we're tuning into, the people that we're surrounding ourselves with, the social media pages that we're following, and instead we start surrounding ourselves with people that support these same new patterns of thinking. I have the visual of a tabletop. So you're going to try on this new tabletop, this new story you're going to tell yourself, this new way of thinking to switch over to more gratitude, more appreciation, more hope. But it's new for you. And so we need to bring in some legs to give that table some stability, some substantiation. And where I think those legs come in are from picking new people. I'm going to choose, if my new story is, I am beautiful and my body is spectacular and I'm sexy, I'm going to go start surrounding myself with women that tell themselves the same story. And I'm going to choose to tune into radio stations and follow certain people in the social media world that's the energy that they exude. So now I'm substantiating this new belief, this new story, this table as being valid and possible and true. You can give it lots of legs, 4 legs. Yeah, now we've got a stable tabletop. How about 10 legs? How about 20 legs? There's no knocking that table over. And so over time, as we shift the way that we think, we feel more hopeful. We feel more energized. And now our energy is there and rocking. Okay, so I've talked about the caffeine out, the water in, the blood sugar stabilization, the way that we're thinking, what's going in and out of your eyes, your mouth, and your heart. Of course, I need to talk a little bit about sleep, because of course sleep is impacting your energy throughout the day. So your sleep chronotype is a real thing. They've now found genetic links to having a specific predisposition towards maybe you actually are at your best, you're most creative, you're energized, ready to go and tackle the world from, say, 10 p.m. to 2 o'clock in the morning. And for someone else, they're like, hell no, I'm asleep by 8 o'clock, but give me 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. and those are my rockin' hours. So just know that there's actually some genetic predisposition there. You can look up the sleep chronotype and allow yourself to fully stand in who you are. Don't judge yourself for it. Don't try to become somebody different. Acknowledge that that's when you're most energized. That's when you're most productive. And so plan your day around that and allow that to fully express itself. Now with sleep, as you take out the caffeine, bring in the adaptogen elixirs, eat ample protein and fat throughout the day and stop skipping meals. And oh, by the way, you're also going to be cutting out sugar and your high carbohydrate refined processed meals. Now what happens is you're going to be able to sleep better. Because most of the time, if you're waking often, particularly for women, if you're waking between that 1 and 4 a.m. period, most of the time that's either your adrenals are exhausted and you're having an adrenal wake up, which generally looks like you wake up with your body exhausted but your mind buzzing, or it's a byproduct of your blood sugars not being stable for the 24 hours leading up to that sleep. So we're going to take the caffeine out. Stick with me. There's lots of things that you can do while the caffeine is going out. Cordyceps is one adaptogen that might be helpful. Making sure that you're hydrating, adding lots of produce into your body during those first 4 days, especially as you're letting the caffeine no longer be part of your daily routine. And then the next piece is so like I said, we're going to eat within 30 to 60 minutes of waking. We're also going to stop eating within 4 hours of going to bed. Because what I want for you is to actually get into quality REM sleep. Okay, when we get into quality REM sleep, that is the one time that our brains actually get to rest and rejuvenate. That is the time where our brains actually assimilate and file the experiences of the day before. So if you finish your last caloric intake within 4 hours of going to bed, meaning no snacking in the evening, ideally no late dinners, now your digestion gets to pause. Rather than blood flow going to your gut, it's now going to your brain, and you get to have quality sleep. And when you're having that quality sleep and able to get into the REM space, the brain goes, oh, I learned that new math equation. I learned that new emotional learning of, resolving my inner child experience, whatever it may be. And the brain now takes that experience, that learning, and files it in the proper place. Okay, that new math equation gets filed over here in my accounting folder, so to speak. Okay, that emotional learning or new skill set or new experience around how to relate in your loving relationships. When you get into REM sleep, you now get to actually put it where it needs to go. So that way, for the rest of your life, when it's time to access the learning, it's more accessible. It's assimilated. Plus, now you're going to wake up in the morning actually feeling rested so that you can have energy throughout the day and go accomplish the goals that you're wanting to accomplish and go do the things that you're wanting to do and go book those trips that you haven't booked or meet with the friend that you haven't met with or go do the exercise that you've been too tired to do. Whatever it may be, we need to sleep well. Okay, so in closing, the main thing I want you to hear is you are worthy of feeling energized. Okay. If you are exhausted, keep listening, keep trying. Okay. There's so many things that we can shift in regard to what's going in and out of your mouth, your eyes, your heart. We can add on skin. Okay. We can add on ears. It's all relevant. It's all important. It's either serving you or it's not. There are great supplements out there that can be personalized and specific for your specific needs, whether it's coming from your gut or your adrenals or your thyroid. Maybe it's your hormones. Maybe it's the stress level that you're under in your life. And we get to actually help you feel safe and cared for. When your adrenals are no longer exhausted and in adrenal fatigue, I promise you, your energy is going to come back. And then you get to show up as that zest-filled, vibrant, potent, powerful woman that you're destined to be. So that you can show up as an example to your friends and your children, and they get to be given permission that I'm going to have energy too. I'm going to fill up my own cup. I'm going to know that food is medicine and medicine is food. And when I shift what I put in my mouth, it makes a difference. And your friends get to have that amazing version of you because you have the energy to connect with them and you have the energy to connect with yourself. One last nugget is called the power pose. You can look up Amy Cuddy in TED Talks. Oh, it's so yummy. You just hold a power pose for 2 minutes, and guess what? It's going to give you a surge of testosterone. It's going to decrease your cortisol. Testosterone is that hormone that makes you feel turned on. It makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel confident. It helps you put on muscle mass and brain clarity and brings up your libido. And so research shows if you simply hold the power pose for 2 minutes before you go into a job interview, you're statistically significantly more likely to get that job. Not to mention just to feel energized and feel powerful and feel ready for your life. So the power pose looks like Wonder Woman. It looks like standing up with your chest wide open and your arms out. It can be you sitting at your chair with your feet up on your desk, feeling like a corporate, powerful stockbroker or whatever image you want to have. It can be lifting your arms high up above your head with your chin up and your chest open and inviting in your power, your vibrance, your zest. Knowing that today is creating the trajectory of an amazing life with fulfilling relationships. Because you, my friend, are worthy of greatness. You are worthy of looking in the mirror and saying, I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am serving greatly in the world. People love me and are pulled to me because I'm spectacular and I'm worthy of love and I'm worthy of belonging and I'm creating the abundance so that I can give philanthropically out in the world in a spectacular way. So when you increase your energy, you get to pour into yourself and you get to pour into your life. And once again, a rising tide lifts all boats. So, cheers to this. I would love to hear from you. You're welcome to reach out. And cheers to moving from exhausted to energized and living that zest-filled life from this day forward.
Wasn't this episode amazing? Let's distill it down to key takeaways and action steps.
All right, thanks for chiming in. Hopefully you walked away with some spectacular nuggets and some action steps to move from exhausted to energized. Quick recap for me that I think of key takeaways. Number 1, adaptogen elixirs. I mentioned them. If you're curious around what that is, you're welcome to sign up and I can send you my free adaptogen elixir recipes. That's a mixture of an adaptogen, a protein source, a fat source, and your hot beverage. They are yummy and will serve your body greatly. So adaptogen elixirs being number 1. Number 2, I mentioned water filtration and the Berkey filter being my favorite. It's simple. It just goes right on your counter. Make sure you get the stainless steel one. And if you're just looking for an easy way to ensure that your water is properly filtered, that's my favorite. And I can take it with me if I travel or go camping because I really do love quality water wherever I go. And then the last thing is if you're hungry for more, you might want to register for my next Vibrant Life workshop. I'll put the details in the show notes below. And in the Vibrant Life workshop, I do a deep dive into your energy, your hormones, your libido, your connection. And it is a live streamed free event for you to come in and continue to learn more along your journey of transformation. So cheers. Look forward to seeing you on the other side.
Thank you for listening to the Woman's Vibrancy Code. Connect with us and take the first step to transforming your energy, hormones, and libido at thewomansvibrancycode.com. Cheers to your zest and vitality. Make sure to follow for weekly power-packed value.